have one enemy. And that's President Snow. He corrupts everyone and everything. He turns the best of us against each other. Stop killing for him.
I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've been waiting for somebody to get their ass whooped.
Oh, that's right.
One particular person.
One particular person. I've been waiting for years for one particular person.
Have you, though? I feel like you look up to this person. You want to be this person.
Right. You don't want him gone.
Yeah.
You like having him there.
You want to learn from him.
Oh, man, that is a conflict because this particular person that we're talking about, while I hate him, he's cool than a motherfucker, man. But what you know who we're talking about. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But for right now, let's go ahead and get into this Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Oh, shit, it's on now. Katniss is walking out, and she's saying, I've had enough. I've been dealing with this goddamn Snow for almost a decade.
Tired of this shit.
I'm tired of this shit. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so at this point, she says, you know what? Out of all the games, out of all the talking, out of all the speeches, it is time for me to end this. And so therefore, Katniss Everdeen and her militarized unit, they leave District 13 to finally take down President Snow and liberate those under his tyranny. But things become complicated as, of course, Snow is always one step ahead. He amps up his forces that are far deadlier than anything that they've seen in the games. And there's also this growing sense of dread in Katniss's own faction. Can't quite put her finger on it, but she's saying something just ain't right at home. And for those of you who have read the books, you know exactly what we're talking about. But for people like me, the cool thing about these movies is that I get to go in fresh.
True.
Get to watch this, and this is after the last movie, which was kind of slow to me. You see the last movie, Tommy?
Yeah, I did.
It was a little bit slow, but everybody kept telling me it's going to be a bigger build up to something that's going to be grand for this finale right here. And Martin, you one of those people telling me that. And I said, you know what? That's what I want, because I know y'all ain't going to close out this last movie right here and still had that motherfucking Snow. Just still ain't worried, still cool, still sitting up there like ain't shit wrong,
Ain't broke a sweat in what, 3 movies?
In 3 movies,
Yeah.
we talked about ain't broke a sweat. People, normally this villain, a villain like this, I say he's just lazy. Just sit on his ass all day, look pretty, talk shit, sniffing flowers all day, and just grinning the whole time. And I'd say, you know what? A guy like that, how could that be a great villain? He don't do shit, but talk shit. But it's that cool factor, man. It's that cool factor that's there that actually, it does 2 things. One, it pisses you the fuck off, man.
The fact that nothing's bothering him bothers you.
The fact that nothing bothers him, and he knows that it bothers you, and he uses that against you, like he talks shit. Ain't nothing worse than a dude that talks shit and it's grinning the whole time. He's just talking about your ass. Look at I called you a bitch. What you gonna do about it?
That fucking smile, man.
That fucking smile. Like he just sit up there just talking,
just giggling. And you aren't gonna do a thing.
You ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. Who the fuck you think? Look at them shoes you got on. You can't even dress right. What the fuck you gonna do?
What are those?
this mother. Even look at this picture's making me mad right now. I want to slap this fucking TV right here.
Smug.
And the other thing is that it's scary. Because the guy who sits up there and doesn't worry about anything, you, like I said, you know he's 2 steps ahead of you. And you know that he already has his next move plan. And that makes you kind of fearful, because throughout these whole films, the reason why he's been smiling the whole time is because he has been ahead of everything these people have done. And these movies have shown us that he has no qualms about putting out the deadliest force that he can, no matter who you are. And that is why at this moment right here, we have Katniss Everdeen, who says, you know what? I don't know what better way to put this. I got to kill this motherfucker.
Or they're like, hey, you've done enough for the revolution. You could just take it easy. And she's like,
No,
Got one more thing to do.
it ain't nothing else to say except this motherfucker has got to go.
You saw Peter, didn't you? Did you tell him hi for me? We're old friends, you know. We had adjoining cells in the Capitol. We're very familiar with each other's screams.
I'm going to kill Snow.
She's like, bitch, don't tell me that. She's like, you about to get me killed. I don't want to hear that.
Already been through some shit.
Nothing good is safe while he's alive.
Bitch,
And I can't make another speech about it.
Now you're talking.
Who's that actress that's in that role?
Jenna Morone.
Jenna Morone. Yeah. What is the character's name?
I was just had in my head a second ago. Is she Joanna?
Jenna Malone. You know what? I have to say,
Ibarra. Damn it.
I will have
love
to
her
say,
character.
I love her character. And she's one of those characters who has a very small role in the movie, but I will tell you, Jenna Malone, she does a great job with that small role,
makes the
man.
most of it.
Yeah, she really does. She has a lot of hatred to the point where you can tell like she doesn't care who gets hurt as long as she can get back at Snow and the government. Minutes is what she's on the screen.
Yeah.
With those minutes, she just oozes venom, man. And while it could turn her ugly, you're like, shit, I can't blame her, man. Girl got her ass whooped, took and made a bald headed and shit. You know? It's fucked up, man. With the summation of that phrase right there, I've got to kill Snow. It kind of it fits the tone of the film because in this it puts at the beginning, it throws you right in, man.
Yeah, like I said, the last movie was all set up just to get here.
Yeah, with this throws you right into the film, and this is probably the one that you can say is a true action film. This is the one where it is so fast that they don't have a whole lot of time to spend on a lot of subplot. They don't have a whole lot of time to spend on a lot of character. There are parts in there where we've seen throughout the years this whole relationship with Peter, played by Josh Hutcherson, and Katniss, of course, Jennifer Lawrence. We've seen that kind of play into the mix because that's what we expect of a YA novel.
Right.
And at this point, they don't even have time for that. They are in a rush to get.
Glad about that.
Yeah, they are in a rush to get this thing going. You got little bits of moments here and there because for the female fans, they have to put it in there.
Yeah, well, fuck, they gave that its own movie the last time. That's pretty much all they focused on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was enough to explore that, but it also, as far as the triangle goes, it really does cap it off. Like so many other movies, like, well, we got this triangle, we just got to work it as long as we can. And you get moments here where it's just kind of like, all right, I guess I can see where this is going, so I'm gonna back off.
Yeah,
me and you are clearly not gonna be together.
Yeah, and plus the movie just says, you know what, it's the last film. We know y'all gonna try to hook up. Let's just keep it going.
Yeah.
You should get some rest.
You're still trying to protect me. Real or not real?
Real. That's what you and I do.
And the movie's like, all right, just that's fine. Let's just go. It's like that's enough. Whatever little romance and like lovey-dovey shit y'all got going, pick that shit up later. We really got to keep things moving.
Put it on hold.
Yeah, put it on hold. Shit, we got a bigger thing going on. I appreciate that because a lot of people go in here and they're like, man, we see these YA movies and a lot of them, especially the ones that are meant for girls. A lot of guys are saying, God damn, out of all this stuff that's happening,
you worried about
this.
Yeah.
And the movie's like, no, we ain't that. I will say, though, that Josh Hutcherson, he has probably come along as being the most developed character in the series. I didn't think that he would be that guy. I didn't even like him at the beginning of the series.
Right.
Because before, when the series started, he looked too much like a little boy to me. Katniss was trying to split herself between Bargain bin Thor.
Yeah.
You know, that Hemsworth boy.
Liam,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth in Josh Hutcherson. I was like, that's a fucking no-brainer right there, man.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
But that was just it. She didn't love Peter. It's just like he loved her so much that she's kind of came into it, and it was all for the act. Because you get to the end of the first movie, and he's like, "Wow, so we're in love, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's a great show we put on those cameras. See ya." And he's sitting there, yeah, he's like,
It's like, fuck, I thought we were going to get laid. And, you know, I look at Josh is it Josh?
Josh.
Hutcherson?
Josh Hutcherson.
Hutcherson. Okay, there is an R in there.
Yeah.
You know, my mom would throw R's and everything, so I'm scared to do it too. Quit dropping crumbs on the floor. You'll get roaches. So there's Josh Hutcherson. I have to say that I think the reason why I see him as a character that's developed the most, well, in the movie, he's the most conflicted character. Mm-hmm. He's the one that actually has the most to redeem himself for. He has the most consequences for his actions. But in addition to that, Josh Hutcherson has actually grown into the role because he grew into his chin. That motherfucker as a kid, he had as a fucking 8-year-old boy, he always had a man chin. I mean,
It's true.
Look at this shit. He's always had a man's chin, and I say, you know what? When is his head gonna grow into that? I mean, look at that chin right there. He could bite a bear's limb off with that shit.
It's a Jay Leno chin.
I don't think anyone could be a bigger authority on that than you yourself.
Oh, fucking boy, it was my head that I grew in.
It's a chin too.
It was north.
Shit, with me it's north and south, so I relate. Yeah, so he grew into that jaw right there, man.
Welcome to the club.
Good actor though. I will say in the movie he's I actually like him more than anybody in the film. It's almost like Katniss and Jennifer Lawrence. I hate to say it, but Jennifer Lawrence seems like she might have outgrown this.
Yeah.
She's a big star now. When she started out,
Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had something to prove in that first.
She did.
In that first movie. Not a lot of people knew her. I see her now, and it's like, man, I'm not gonna say she looks bored. I'm not gonna say she doesn't appreciate the material. But the way that character's written in this finale right here, she's just kind of walking through it, man.
I noticed that watching the trailers and like the TV spots. I'm like, she's not showing much emotion, really anything, But maybe it's just the clips that they're showing.
I don't know. Maybe you disagree, but I
don't know. I never got that watching it. I mean, maybe if I see now you put it in my head, I would look for it. But the whole time watching it, I never thought, she doesn't seem like she's invested.
It's not that she's bad. It just seems like that character.
She has a scene where she breaks down and she throws all into that.
That's later in the movie, near the beginning. I don't know if she's holding back or not, but I'm not saying it's even bad. I'm just saying compared to other people.
Well, I think it's also like you follow the character at this point. Like she's been through war. And it's just more her being battle hardened and just showing her resolve. Like, fuck everybody and everything else. I gotta kill Snow. I know that President Coin is trying to get me to do what she wants me to do. I got to do this.
And you know what? You were right, man, because she is sort of battle hardened, and she's been having to have a strong face for not only the people who are the common people, but she's also have to do it for the troops and everybody else.
She's got to do the propaganda films, and they're saying, "Oh, do it like this." She's like, "What about these people? Like, don't worry about that. Just do what we tell you."
And speaking of military stuff here, just to show you how much of a military movie this is, or how much of an action film this is, it's very militarized.
Oh yeah,
this is almost like Aliens to Alien. There are times in this movie where it feels like more like Saving Private Ryan than it does a Hunger Games movie. Say what you will about the film. People might not like that it's so much of an action film. People might have the complaints about this not being able.
When did people complain about something being too much of an action film?
Well, with this, when it's taken away from the characters, people can say that it's probably too much of an action film. But I will say that this is the one that stands out the most, for better or for worse, because this one, at times, like I said, you don't even feel like it. It feels actually, to its credit, it actually feels like it's more of a real world when you get into the military than it does a fantasy world. And there are moments where you feel like, man, am I watching a war film?
You're my unit. Lieutenant Jackson is my second in command. Each one of you is elite in some form of combat. But we are a non-combat unit, so we'll be following days behind the frontline troops.
You're to be the on-screen faces of the invasion. The Star Squad. It's been decided that you're most effective when seen by the masses.
So we're not gonna fight.
You do whatever you're ordered to do, soldier. It's not your job to ask questions.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, sir.
Even though we'll be working on abandoned streets miles behind the front lines, I guarantee you, wherever they put us, it will not be safe. This is a war zone. It is likely that we'll encounter both active pods and peacekeepers. You're considered high-value targets to the Capitol. Our unit has been given a hollow, a database that contains a detailed map of the Capitol and a list of every known pod. These pods can trigger anything from bombs to traps to mutts.
Whatever they contain, they're meant to kill you.
You know he's serious because that's the widest that brother's eyes. That's the character, what, Sergeant Boggs, Lieutenant Boggs, or whatever. That brother, he's got a crazy face. Like, a handsome guy, but every time he's talking, he looks like he's about to cry.
Honestly, after he made that speech and was so serious and telling everybody what's going on, I kind of felt like if I was in that unit, I'd be like, you know what, Sarge, you're right. I'm just going on back to base.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You know, I'm gonna pledge allegiance to Snow, man. That brother, every time he talk, he look like this.
Yeah.
I will militarize you and everything.
Lips
Damn,
all
brother,
tight and shit.
What's wrong, man? Hey, your contacts bothering you and shit. But then when he said everything is meant to kill you, he's like, I'm not fucking playing here. Look like a turtle right now.
He's crying just thinking about it.
I know. Why y'all sitting me out on this shit, man? But you know, it's cool watching the military stuff in the movie, man, because it works against that world and it works for the world. Like I say, it makes you believe in it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they'll bring up some other scenes where you like, oh yeah, I forgot everybody wear those silly ass fucking goofy clothes and this.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
all those wigs and makeup and everything. And there are times when it starts to clash when they reintroduce that into the movie. But then after a while, as it keeps going, you're like, man, you actually made that believable too. It's a well-directed movie. Don't get me wrong. It's an extremely well-directed film. But at the same time, like I said, I think it moves so fast that the problem that I have with it is that it seems like it's not a self-contained film. It really does feel like it's part of another movie. Yeah. It really does feel like it's
like it has a part one.
Well, that's what that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you see this, it feels like you were dropped into another film that, and I know it's a part of another. I know there's a part one, but take for example, Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, that's a part of a trilogy. But you can watch that movie and see where they introduce new things, set up something really cool at the beginning. This feels like I came into half of a show, and I know it's meant for people who watch it, but it still doesn't work for the narrative too much because, like I said, to feel like half a show feels like half a story. Yeah. Feels like they don't really have time to develop these characters anymore. And I know it's the last movie, but it really should feel. I can tell you, in all those Harry Potter movies, you felt those were real characters. This is the one where I feel like everybody's there to be a part of this big platoon and just be killed. Yeah. Except for the characters that you absolutely know are going to live. And even then, it's kind of like, well, all right, we know Katniss's story. We don't have to develop that too much. That's why I like Peter so much in the movie, because he's the one that at first seemed like a side character, and he plays this huge part in this particular story right here. But I can see you disagree.
Yeah, I disagree a lot. When you say he feels like a side character, he was always a main. He's the co-main character.
He was a supporting character, but now he feels like more of a main character than the rest of the
He's been germane to this from the very from beginning to end, and he's just out of it for a little bit. But he felt more like a side character maybe in this one, just because he comes in so late in this particular part of the story. But he was never a side character. Of all the things you're saying, I don't see how you got that.
Well, maybe you misunderstand. When I say a side character, he's not Katniss. He's a supporting character. He's a main supporting character, but he's a supporting character. But what I'm saying is, even as being a supporting character who was not on Katniss's level, I think he surpassed her as a character. I think that character, as far as being a fleshed out person, feels like for the end of this movie, it feels like that's the character that actually made the most, the biggest distance as far as coming along in their story arc than anybody else. And I think that's a flaw in the film, that it feels a little rushed to me. That's just me.
I disagree, in as much as just telling the whole story that is so much about Katniss from her perspective that it's by the time it gets here, we don't need to go deeper into her because you pretty much have it all. And everything you're saying, I remember those criticisms about those last 2 Harry Potter movies, and you were like, no, you got to look at both of them. That's the only way to judge this. And that's the same here, where you had part 1 that's really all the setup to get to this part. You have to look at them as really as one movie that was just it's too long to release as one thing.
Yeah, no, I got that. I got that. But you know, like I said, in those last 2 Harry Potter movies, they felt like, even then, they felt like characters. I feel like I'm missing character in this. That's all. I mean, it's moving so fast. That's a flaw to me right there. I mean, and like I said, man, it's a well-directed film, and it is the darkest out of all of these movies, and I appreciate it going that dark. This is not a girls' YA movie anymore. This is not just a young adult movie anymore. This is a action drama.
Well, not only that, but with this one is where all the allegory really starts to hit home. I mean, there's just a point when the battle's being taken to the Capitol, and I couldn't help but feel like, wow, I feel like the Capitol is America, with all the rich people who have all this food and decadence and do whatever they want, and then all the other districts are the poorer nations who are just like, all right, we're tired of this.
No,
we're coming to even the playing field.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that struggle. It's cool that they have that. I mean, that's the eternal struggle that we love in stories.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying here is that a lot of people, they're going to go in and you're going to be expecting something cute. Like I said, y'all going to go in expecting like Katniss and Peter to be hugging and kissing throughout the film, and there's going to be a little action here and there. No, this shit is rough, man. It really is the grimmest, darkest of all these movies right here.
Last book. I mean, yeah, so I know how dark the shit gets.
It's like, and it just goes to show you, it is so dark. You really, you want people to get shot. You want people to get blown up, because if they don't, and they get caught by one of those pods, it's going to be a horrible fucking
Way
death.
worse, yeah.
I mean,
those pods don't play.
as much as I like President Snow, as much as I say, yeah, man, yeah,
the devil.
I say, as much as I say that's a cool motherfucker right there, it's like, you see those pods and what he thinks up, and it's like, what kind of fucking evil person are you, man?
To just see his mind and the shit that he
like, what kind of person are you where your job is to sit around and think of like slime monsters, humanoid slime monsters, to not even benefit the military, to fucking kill kids. Children.
Yeah.
They created this shit to eat kids, man.
It's funny because they don't feel like kids at all in this movie anymore. Like, at this point, everybody's grown up.
But if Katniss wasn't fighting, that tax money would have gone to making creatures like that to eat fucking children.
Yeah.
Nightmarish shit. What kind of fucking psychopath do you have to be? What's going on in your dark ass mind?
Well, you can also see how the budget has increased for the movies, because in the first movie, those mutts were supposed to look more like this. And they're like, hey, man, we just did the best we could. But now they're like, all right, we got some money now.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. No, those dogs from that first movie.
Compared to that?
That looked like shit out of something out of Super Mario Bros. This shit right here.
Yeah, that's
man. When they're moving through the Capitol, trying to get there and dodge the pods and all the death traps. I mean, I read in the book, and it was scary enough, but just watching it, I'm like, sure they capture that, because you just feel on edge the whole time. Yeah. And they're like, okay, this hallway is safe. You're like, I don't know, man. I think I'm going to just sit right here and not move that way or that way.
Somebody throw a rock down there.
Yeah, something. Yeah. How about you go first? You know what President Snow is? President Snow, he's the saw puppet if he became president.
He's the saw guy.
Yeah, he's the saw guy.
With a lot of money.
If he became the president of a country, he can make the whole country just be full of traps.
There you go.
You run a red light, a fucking bear trap comes out of the fucking manhole and just eats your ass. It's like, it's fucked up. It is fucked up. It is really a fucked up kind of film, man. I mean, PG-13, yes, but psychologically, I'm like, Jesus Christ. These people are they are really fucked up in the head. I gotta tell you, I like the movie. Like I said, as far as the direction in this film, they've taken this and they've made a competent movie, man. It's probably one of the most well-directed movies out of the series as far as direction goes. I think that script has some problems. But the other thing to me is that I don't know what they could have done. And Martin has been disagreeing with me on everything else. I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but they got scenes of Philip Seymour Hoffman in there. And you could tell they ran, because he's dead,
right?
And they were, yes. I don't know if anybody told you, Tommy, but Philip Seymour Hoffman, he died, man.
I got that note.
Okay, so you could tell that they, at least it seems this way to me, they ran out of footage. So it's like he's got a few moments of dialogue early on, and then the rest of the movie he's looking like that, just staring off. and smiling at things.
Really?
And it's almost like they took the footage when they were rolling the camera before they yelled action, where he just sit up there just waiting for them to say something. They just use that. He's up there like, I'm so proud of what these people have done, and it's like that seems weird, man. You were talking your ass off at the beginning of the movie.
But at least they didn't pull a Fast and Furious 7 to where you can obviously see that that's not him.
They didn't do that.
No,
I was actually surprised about him being in so much of this one. I was like, damn, I thought they ran out of stuff until it plays to the end. I was like, totally forgot how important he was to all this.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay. Yeah, that's why they had to, like, they had to be devastated when he died. I was thinking it was like, well, it's kind of an inconvenience, but then looking back at it as it gets to the end, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
They must have been freaking out. Like, somebody get Jack Black on the phone right now.
When Philip Seymour Hoffman died, if you heard somebody say, shit! That was the studio. It was, yeah, man. It's and you're right. At least they didn't pull some shit where they had to like have him look at the screen. His head was not. Both of them moving in different directions and shit. So I give them credit for that. They used it well. I'm just saying, you can tell. Let me just say this, man. For those who have been anticipating this, and you are a huge fan of this series, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I mean, I wasn't disappointed. I thought I thought it was very intense. The stakes are higher. The movie's well made. This is the conclusion of what we've been waiting on, and really to the last moment, I have to say President Snow kept his cool to the I mean, that motherfucker. It's this guy the movie we're more than halfway through the movie. Like, god damn, panic or something,
rattled, man.
Yeah, do something. Say fuck or something, you know.
Yeah.
And so it really does keep you kind of worried there, like, man, this guy, it's going to end with him ruling the fucking world.
Yeah.
And maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. This smug ass bitch right here. But I tell you, for me, just from a movie perspective, as I've been saying over and over again, in every other area, I don't think that they had enough time to make these people feel like people. So I didn't really root for a lot of them like I wanted to in this. I mean, this is the one where I'm supposed to go like, fuck yeah. And it's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we got that done. And maybe and also speaking of the ending, I have to say that I watched the ending and I said, wow, that was really conveniently easy. So, I didn't buy the ending either. I give it a matinee, man. It's a good movie, but I definitely saw the flaws in it.
Oh, okay. I won't say I didn't see some flaws, but they seem minor, especially considering everything that's gone on, the way it was telling this much bigger story. And with these franchises, you're always afraid it's just going to blow it in the landing. And it managed to stick it pretty good. It's one of those franchises you can watch from beginning to end, and the worst movie is probably where it starts. So once you get past that, it all gets good from there. It was pretty well intense. I thought it was a really good adaptation of the book. I do wish there could have been more time, just because, reading the book, you really get to feel the characters. And when somebody dies, you get to spend time mourning them, and then you pick it back up again. And here, it's just like, we got to keep going. And you understand, they are on a mission. There's no time to sit around going like, oh no, not him.
Oh yeah.
But it would be nice to be able to feel that.
Because they sat down too long, Snow gonna pull one of them traps out.
yeah.
If you don't get up, you gonna make your ass get up.
Yeah. And I don't know, what you're saying about the end. It's an interesting thing because it does seem convenient. I thought there's probably a way to film this where it could be more of a shock. Than what happens. But then what happens right after it was just kind of just desserts and funny in its own way, where it left me satisfied anyway.
I know. It left me half satisfied, but I can't talk about that right now. Man,
but also at the very end, with when it gets revealed really what was going on, I was like, oh wow, I never really picked up on that, and I like that this brought that out. I think for anybody who's a fan of these movies or these books, it's going to deliver on just about everything you want, and I give it a full price.
And you know what? Normally I'd be cussing your ass out and disagreeing with you and arguing with you. You know how I am.
Oh, of course.
You know, I'm tempted to do it.
That's your nature.
I'm tempted to do it right now.
You're a Scorpion.
Yeah, you know, like I just want to argue with you for just because I'm used to it right now. But I have to agree with you. If you're a fan, it is a full price movie. Yeah. You know, I'm just going in because I didn't read the book. Shit, I don't know. You know,
You don't read?
I don't read. I'm watching movies and it didn't hold up. But no, it's a very high matinee for me. But it is a full price for those who are expecting this finale right here. I've been wanting to, man, I really want to just, I really want to say something, but I can't. Can y'all just walk away for just 2 minutes, because this shit is bothering me.
Okay.
You haven't seen it? Just walk out for a second. Walk out, Will. Walk out. Just walk out for a second. Okay, no, all right, you too lazy to get up. Don't get mad at me now if I say it. Did you read the books? No. You didn't read it? Exactly. That's what I said. I'd actually have to pick the book up and open it. But just 2 minutes, people, go. You can come back in 2 minutes. I swear I'll be done. This asshole right here, even when for those who read the books, you know Snow gets it at the end.
Right.
And I wanted him to go out screaming in pain.
But he practically did.
No, that motherfucker was laughing. Even when they rushed him, he was just like, I ain't giving y'all the pleasure. I'm like, man, fuck this dude.
No, that's not what I took from that.
No,
I took from that.
That motherfucker was smiling the whole time.
He was laughing because she shot Coin, and he was so happy to see Coin get it, and everything he said to her worked, and he's laughing. But then his cancer cough is coming, and he looked up and saw that mob coming at him. He's like, and that was it.
No,
y'all are seeing this two completely different ways.
Maybe I'm just so used to seeing his ass.
I was just like, I had that feeling too. Like, don't tell me he's gonna get. Even though I read the fucking book, I was like, don't let him get away with this. And then they fucking mob tore his ass apart. I was like, good.
No, man, I saw it too. Maybe I'm just used to seeing that motherfucker smile all the time.
Yeah,
like that's just what he's like.
I've been conditioned to see that grin after all these fucking years.
Only
man.
thing laughing after that scene was his skeleton.
Fuck this dude, man.
His skeleton was in pieces.
Maybe I'm just mad because I wasn't there to tear his ass apart.
That's what it was.
I wanted a piece of that dude.
I fucking dartboard and put his picture right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 76th Hunger Games.
And his name is John C.